This Lent 2021, the Carmelite Sisters of Baltimore have invited 5 people to share their prophetic dream, their hope for a transformed world. Our prophetic dreamer for the second Sunday of Lent is Sister Gloria Schaab, SSJ.
Good morning. The readings on this second Sunday in Lent are full of promises. God promises Abraham to bless him abundantly and make his descendants as countless as the stars of the sky and the sands of the seashore. God promises us everything in Christ Jesus, assuring us that if God is for us, who can be against us? God promises transfiguration, a change in our vision of which we will hardly be able to speak until we experience what it means to rise from the dead. Hope for a transformed world is based on such promises, and ultimately on the promise of what it means to rise from the dead. Like the 3 disciples in this year-long Lenten season, we might wonder what rising from the dead might mean. In this Lent of political violence, systemic racism, worldwide pandemic, and ecological devastation, what might rising from the dead mean? Faced with political violence, we yearn for a movement toward active inclusion. Confronted by systemic racism, we long for ethical and social transformation. Plagued by a worldwide pandemic, we ache in solidarity with the suffering. Challenged by Earth's devastation, we hunger for the revitalization of the web of life. What might it look like to rise, to hope for a transformed world? Hope for me is a movement toward active, inclusive love that welcomes and celebrates diversity of gender, sexual orientation, race, ethnicity, culture, and religion, recognizing that each person contributes uniquely and necessarily to the whole. Nowhere is this better modeled than in the life of Jesus, who invited all comers to table fellowship. He challenged his followers and allowed himself to be challenged, to subvert the social order, to build relationships of love and mutuality, to assure that no person was ostracized by human judgment or societal convention. In the face of systemic racism, hope demands the reform of ethical, political, and societal systems. Patterns that devalue, dominate, divide, that shore up racist, sexist, or ethnic oppression must be eradicated so that equality is defended, discrimination is abolished, power is distributed, and intolerance is renounced. Hope in the midst of a worldwide pandemic draws us into deeper solidarity with those who suffer, incarnating the very presence of the self-emptying love disclosed in Jesus Christ. In his ministry, Jesus revealed a God insistently responsive to those who suffer. In his cross, he revealed a God who resolutely took suffering and death upon God's self, but who nonetheless brought new life from death in the resurrection. Finally, hope responds to earth's cries, to recognize its waste as a sign of our sinfulness, to take political action to ensure its vitality, and to move beyond our self-concern that serves only to exploit it. What might rising from the dead mean this Lenten season? What is my hope? No less than our transfiguration, a change in vision, a conversion of heart, a reform of society, an embrace of earth. Hope for a transformed world is based on such transfiguration and ultimately on God's promise that we too shall rise from the dead.
We hope you will join us next week on the third Sunday of Lent when our prophetic dreamer will be Dr. Kim Harris.